He will share his insights on heat solutions, cost savings, and predictability for industrial clients wanting to decarbonize. Welcome to Bilbao. The stage is yours.
Hello and good morning or good day. My name is Jobst von Hoyningen-Huene. I have founded, co-founded and co-run econnext, an industrial holding, since 2016. We have a focus on decarbonization and circular economy solutions, and today I want to focus on the topic of heat that has been discussed in the previous talk already, and want to highlight actually one important message. You know, green is not expensive. Green is good for CFOs, for strategy, for CEOs, and for energy procurement. And I think as an industry, we need to be better. We should not talk too much about innovation, pilots, first of its kind. We should also actually point to solutions that are readily available today and that are competitive and sometimes and very often provide even cost savings and predictability. The elephant in the room has been also mentioned by a couple of my of the speakers today. The elephant in the room is industrial process heat. You can see here that the industrial sector globally consumes 32% of the energy, and of that, you know, 3/4 is industrial heat. And the renewable sector is only kicking in very slowly. This is mostly burning biomass and wood. So a lot of sort of change needed, and change needed very fast. And I think if I would actually point to one roadblock in that sector, it is the hesitancy by the industrial customers that feel uncertain about solutions, that feel uncertain about future regulation, that feel uncertain about taking decisions. And I think you know, this needs to be changed. And you know, the good news is that green heat solutions are readily available, and they are actually very attractive financially. I will later come to the two subsidiaries that we own as econnext, as majority shareholder, Circular Carbon and Lumenion. And you see here nicely actually, you know, which temperature range they cover. Lumenion up to 450 degrees, and Circular Carbon even up to 1,200 degrees as green heat sort of provider for industrial sites. And there is another good thing, and this happened just recently. You know, we have been told by James Watt and others that you need to burn stuff in order to get steam or heat. And this is not true. There are other solutions out there. Of course, the heat pumps, you know, it's important, but also the higher temperature ranges above the 150 and 200 degrees are solvable with existing solutions. And I'm very happy to see The Economist, the Wall Street Journal, The Guardian, Financial Times, all talking about that, because you know it's you know a discussion that focuses very much on the silver bullet right now. I think hydrogen is a big topic, and subsidies shower that sector. The technology needs to be developed. It's not mature yet. It's not big yet. You know, it will be, and it's extremely necessary to have it. But if we talk about readily available solutions, then we should talk and look at this stuff which is provided by us, but also by other sort of very impressive competitors. So the point that I want to make here is really, you know, I don't want to talk to the tech geeks and the energy people. I want to talk to the C-suite. I want to talk to the CFOs. I want to talk to energy procurement. And I want to basically point to the fact you can buy predictability, you actually generate cost savings, and by the way, you decarbonize, you know, nice byproduct, but it's basically only one aspect. The two companies that I briefly, you know, want to portray and discuss is Circular Carbon. This is a company that does pyrolysis, and delivers green heat to the industrial customer without burning biomass or wood chips, for example, or cocoa husks in our case. And there are other sort of nice aspects, and I will come to that in a minute. Lumenion, with a thermal energy solution, is actually able to electrify the process heat supply, and the customer can decarbonize the process heat of the industrial site. Food, pulp and paper, chemical sector are the customers that come to your mind first, because they are exactly in that sweet spot and heat demand. Here you see the site of Circular Carbon in Hamburg, and it is one process, it's the pyrolysis, but the very interesting aspect is that it actually provides 3 revenue streams, 3 products. Firstly, by the pyrolysis, you generate syngas. It's green syngas because it's just based on sustainable biomass waste and residues. And then you can actually produce biochar. And biochar is a very valuable and precious product, in particular in the agricultural sector or in the building sector. And by putting that biochar into the soil, for example, as soil enhancement, you have a very nice side effect. You have actually a permanent CO2 sink. And that is why you can actually generate the 3rd revenue stream, which is sales on CO2 certificates, and you can do forward sales in that sector. So 3 different revenue streams here. And the industrial customer, which basically underwrites a contract with you, a long-term contract, 12 years and more, is actually asking you, in our case Circular Carbon, to sit next to the site to provide that green steam, and actually offers or takes care of the biomass feedstock. This is then the pyrolysis is going to happen here in Circular Carbon site, and then you have basically these biochar next to the green steam. You have the biochar and the applications in the agricultural sector mainly, and you generate the CO2 certificates. And why is that important? It is important because you subsidize the green steam costs for the industrial customer. And that is what we offer to them. So we need to take care of the biomass waste. This is a cost factor. And, of course, you need to buy that long term. There will be a certain volatility in the price, but by actually, buying this commodity in large amounts, you can buy also a certain sort of safety or certainty with respect to price movements. And then you have actually these 2 revenue streams that I mentioned previously, the biochar and the CO2 certificate revenue streams. And if you can actually have and show a long-term, 10 years plus offtake agreement on biochar at agreeable price levels, and you can actually, showcase that this biochar is not being used for burning or etc. pp., you can on top generate CO2 certificates. And these 2 revenue streams, you share an open book, and also the costs factor, you share an open book approach with your industrial customer, and this has an effect on the green steam. So the industrial customer accepts that you as an investor need to earn some sort of revenues, and not revenues, IRRs, and everything which is on top lowers the price of the syngas. And there are scenarios when you have attractive biochar pricing here with other off-takers, that the green steam that the industrial customer gets into the 0 territory, very close to 0 territory. Of course, this is something which cannot be guaranteed. And there is, a certain sort of level where we have down side protection scenarios, and the price will be sort of agreed at an acceptable price. But there is an opportunity to lower this price dramatically, and this is a message to the CFOs and the energy procurement. super attractive, long-term, and also predictable. And the other solution that I want to discuss is Lumenion. Lumenion, the thermal energy storage company. Very simple approach. You actually take intermittent renewable energy, you store it, and you can deliver stable steam, to the industrial sites or actually into district heating at lower temperature levels. And I don't want to go into the tech here. It works. Yeah? We have delivered that. It's very reliable. It's extremely interesting in our case, since we can actually ship and deliver that globally, because we just go with our design to the countries and use local content and local manufacturers to build that up. And this is the beauty, because our base, the core of the storage is steel. Every engineer globally loves to work with steel. So there is no secret sauce or a fabric manufacturer sort of somewhere in Germany, and we need to ship material to whatever, Vietnam or South Africa or Canada. No, we can actually use the local providers and supply chain. And this is how a project looks like. You see it's pretty big dimensions. Here you see the inside. Very simple. You basically put steel cassettes from above into that unit. You can see it here. It's, I think, 8 months ago that this photo has been taken. Once all this is done and collected, it's insulated. You see it like here. It's a little bit the size of a gym, 15 times 8 times 7 meters. And after that, it's basically covered, and this corner here is then this building, and it's part of a big, in fact, the largest organic food production company in Germany that want to decarbonize their food production. So very simple, very beautiful, very reliable, and now the one and only chart that I want to share with you, if I would have just one slide, is the slide for the CFO. And here actually the example is real numbers. It's a pulp and paper factory or site in Portugal. What you see here is actually the current costs for natural gas and heat production. The different components we have added here. And the most important fact is, if you actually run on natural gas, you have counterparties, you can buy forward gas pricing, but just 2 years forward. And afterwards, you're completely open. You don't know how the gas price will be and what you need to pay over the next 15, 12, 20 years. And every industrial site actually lives with this volatility and this unpredictability, and has done so in the last decades. But we all know what that could mean, after the Russian invasion into Ukraine and the hike of the gas pricing, the uncertainty whether gas is actually available, not the financial counterparty, but whether it's physically available. This is something which is actually a fact for every industrial site that runs on gas. And now the Lumenion solution. So taking renewable energy, taking actually our thermal energy solution and the delivery of stable heat, we actually agree with the customer on day one on a heat PA, not a PPA, but a heat PA. And we can actually offer more attractive costs today compared to gas. And not only that, we can actually agree on a 20-year contract with the customer. And the customer knows exactly what he needs to pay. I mean, this slide upward lift here is inflation adjusted only. And the customer knows, what he has to pay over the next 20 years for his heat supply. So this predictability and the sort of the cost savings provide actually a long-term pricing hedge. And this is, I think, the most important aspect at this slide and in this presentation. So it's in fact a big physical, I mentioned that, the steam can be delivered even if gas markets are breaking down. And by the way, it's green. Yeah, you decarbonize your site. So question is, when do we actually decide for which solution? Those are the key parameters. It's the temperature levels, it's the load curves, it's the availability of renewable energy. Of course, it's the regulatory aspect. Some countries are more attractive than others. And it's also availability of biomass. If there's one message that I ask you to take home and to spread, it is this: decarbonization with our solutions and others that are presenting here is readily available and financially highly attractive. There's predictability, it's cost savings, and it's decarbonization. It ticks all the boxes. Many thanks. That was it.